Another player that could be linked with, is linked with Sheffield Wednesday. This is from the Star. We're going to quote the Star probably a lot because I think they're one of the only ones left that
they're the only paper really now.
Yeah.
We'll be quoting the Star that many times, it'll be a whole galaxy by the end of the episode.
Ex-Arsenal, Liverpool, Sunderland and Rangers man an option for Sheffield Wednesday has trained at the club. Former Arsenal and Liverpool youth prospect is being weighed up as a potential summer transfer option at Sheffield Wednesday. The Star understands the Els are heading into what seems to be a busy. I won't read that. I will give something to the article there. The Star understands that free agent OVIE EJARIA is a player of potential interest to Wednesday, having been weighed up by the Owls in the last months. It is understood that the 26-year-old spent time training with the club towards the back end of their survival campaign after the registration deadline, with a view to possibly signing ahead of the 2024-25 season. It remains to be seen whether that interest will be revisited. So, this could be a punt article in terms of, we've heard he's been training actually. Will he sign? But, do you think we'll go in for him, Jake?
I think it makes sense to go in for him, because at the end of the day, if he's already been at the club training at the back end, you already know what the club mentality is. And you don't have to sell the club to him. He can see what happened behind the scenes and then saw what it was on the pitch. I think it makes a lot of sense. Free agent, you would only have to do wages for it. It gives us that extra bit of weight we need kind of thing, because we are light in midfield. Yet he hasn't had a club since January, since leaving Reading, and a lot of reasons why he left Reading, not really going to go into them, but you all know what Reading's situation is, kind of thing. But it makes a lot of sense. So it'll be interesting to see if we go through with this one. We did say that a lot of free agents and loans will come in. And if we're going to do free agency, we have to be quick, because there'll be a lot. Yes. There's a lot of decent players out there at the minute who are free agents who are very good. So if we want them, we need to be done the next 2 weeks.
Jack, I'm going to hand this over to you, but before I do, you 100% have signed him on Football Manager at some point, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because I am as well.
I know of him quite a bit because Reading has always been a club that I've followed a bit through familial connections, so I know of him very well anyway. But yeah, sorry, you were going to do something before you handed over the opinion bit. Yeah, basically, to put it in perspective of comparing it to a player that we've already had, he is everything that Tariq Backinson should have been. His work rate, his long-range ability, his dribbling ability, he's absolutely everything that Tariq Backinson should have offered us and didn't. And I just think it's an absolute no-brainer, because when Reading were still in the Championship and battling against relegation, even under Jaap Stam when they were fighting for promotion and lost to Huddersfield in the playoff final a few years ago, literally, he was carrying Reading on his back. He was that much of an influential player for them. And I can only imagine that it will have been down to him personally with not signing at the end of his Plymouth trial rather than the other way round. And I just think it's it's just a note. Sign him, for God's sake, sign him. He's very very good.
I'd be up for this as well, because I feel like the Reading thing might have been a financial thing in terms of
it definitely
was. He's more. Would you say then, if you've got some Reading experience with him, it'd be interesting for Reading fans to let us know in the comments, would you say he's more central? Because he's pinned as a left midfielder, but I know he does play in. He can play in that 10 and he plays centrally as well. So it's a case of, would you say that we'd be looking for him in the centre of midfield, which to me would make sense? He's that technical player, and he's probably more.
Him and Poveda could probably swap positions rather than swap injuries. Him and Poveda could probably swap positions from the wing into the.
Is he more of a Poveda than a Barry Bannon then?
No, he's more of a box to box playmaker, sort of Barry Bannon-esque, like Barry Bannon when he was 26.
This is my thought process. Are we now looking for the Barry Bannon replacement? Jake?
Probably.
Yes, 100%. We've been looking for the last 4 years of fans, because we're going to hit a period that Liverpool hit when they lost Steven Gerrard, where they're going to have that missing link in midfield. And we need to start finding that missing link for when Barry Bannon does eventually retire.
Well, his career, it's a no-brainer for me. Yes, he's not played, but he's been training with us. He's 26 years old. His youth career was at Arsenal. He was there for 9 years, and then he was at Liverpool for 2 years. And he actually was with the Liverpool senior team, making 2 appearances in 4 years. But during all of that, he went on loan to Sunderland in 2018, 11 appearances, 1 goal. Rangers in the other half of 2018, 14 appearances, 1 goal. Then 2019-20, he went on loan to Reading, where he made 52 appearances and 4 goals. And then, since then, he signed for Reading, made 72 appearances overall. I just think that this makes sense. He's a great age. For me, it's the Byers situation all over again.
Yeah.
But this is going to be coming in with Danny. He's 6 foot, which means he's got good presence in that midfield. He's not... It's a case of like, he'll be able to get on headers and things like that. But he's not so big that you'd expect him to be that hybrid between Barry Bannon and someone like a towering midfielder. That's really bad punditry there, but there we go.
And just to add a bit more context to the injury situation that he had at Reading, they literally could not afford to pay a medical team. So a player went out injured, they were like gone for so long. Just look at Lucas João when he got injured for Reading. He was gone for like a whole season over what would normally be like 2 months to get over, and then you're back if you had a medical team with you. That's literally why he had such a bad injury stint at Reading towards the end. Because they didn't.
This is the player on the list of linked players that does really excite me, actually, because for me, he is the safer bet, and he's in that middle of is in that market where it's a player that had a high ceiling, right? Apparently, if you look at his old market values, he's currently at around €800,000. If you're looking at Transfer Market again, we wouldn't say it's the most reliable place, but to be honest, they are pretty spot on sometimes. But his highest market value in 2020, people were putting a valuation of him on of like 4 million, because if you actually look at his transfer history, he went to Reading from Liverpool for £3.9 million.
Exactly.
And he's a free transfer. It makes sense. Do it Wednesday. I would love to see this player here. I genuinely would, because I play video games a lot. And have you seen the card he could have got? He could be a 93 rated, boys, on EAFC. 93 rated left midfielder. His actual base card is prime for us. He'd be one of our better base cards because he's a 69 rated silver with plenty of options there. The one thing I like about him, guys, you'd be able to use him in career mode if you've been watching my career mode. He's got finesse shot, technical flair, and first touch. He's got play styles. He's a player that will work. 69 rated left midfielder, 60 pace, 61 shooting, 67 passing, 78 dribbling, 64 defending, and 63 physical. But them evolutions there, just like looking at the one you put in there, Jake, the 93 with the team of the season thing, just 79 pace is not great, but pretty much 90 passing, 95 dribbling. There's a lot there. So if you like video games, EJARIA would also be a player to have a look there. But in terms of real life, I think we are starting to look for that Barry Bannon replacement. Could he be that? It's big. And they said it's big boots to fill. Might be big boots to fill. Small stash to fill, blessed. But it's definitely, in terms of importance to Sheffield Wednesday, we need to start looking in that midfield position. And his versatility will help us there. Let's see what happens.